Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 571, Ron Howard. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by over at Weavers and pick up some of the great Mayberry items they have. Brand new for the 60th anniversary of the Andy Griffith Show, we have Mayberry's cookbook. It's an Aunt Bee's Mayberry cookbook hardcover edition. Go and check that out. Jim Clark and Ken Beck have slightly updated it and added a few things. It's hardcover, great gift for mom coming up for Mother's Day. And what better to go with that than some Mayberry's finest country bacon or coffee? Head over and check all that out at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Newsome, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting. And the show is not only brought to you by Weavers, but it's also brought to you this week by Susan Gozer. She is the executive producer of Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 571. So thank you, Susan, for your contribution to the show. And you can claim yourself as executive producer on letterhead or anything you'd like for the podcast. Hey, everybody. Again, I'm Alan Newsome, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting. I run imayberry.com. I'm a Floyd the Barber tribute artist. I am in love with the Andy Griffith Show. I love it. I talk about it all the time. I've been talking about it for 11 years here on the podcast. So if you don't like what you hear tonight, go back and look at some of the old episodes. There's bound to be some that you'll find entertaining. But today we're going to talk about Ron Howard. Now, I've done this before. I have visited and talked with you about Ron at least twice on the podcast. Now, if you head over to twochairsnowaiting.com, it'll take you right to the Two Chairs site. And if you go there, there's a thing at the top, the menu there, that says episode list. If you click on that, it'll give you a list of every episode by title. And the ones that we're actually looking at that are related to tonight, you might want to go back and listen to episode number 431. It's called Ron Howard and Opie Taylor. And then, very clever of me, I did another episode about Ron Howard, number 542, that's called Ron Howard and Opie. So since I said Ron Howard and Opie Taylor, and then Ron Howard and Opie, since I was going to talk about him tonight, I thought this episode should just be called Ron Howard. See how clever I am? Wow, I worked that right in. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. And then we're going to be hearing from Randy Turner with This Week in Mayberry History following this. So let's talk a little bit about Ron Howard. Now, Ron Howard, the reason I'm bringing him up is his birthday was March the 1st. Now, today, as I record this, is on a Monday. It's going to come out on Tuesday, but I'm recording this on a Monday evening, and it is March the 2nd, 2020. Now, Ron turned 66 years old yesterday as I'm recording this on the 1st of March. He was born in 1954, and I think you already know he's a filmmaker and an actor. I think you already know all these things, right? He came to prominence, of course, as a child actor, doing guest stars in several television series. Now, you may or may not know some of this. Did you know he was on The Twilight Zone? Did you know that? He was a guest star on The Twilight Zone. And he gained, of course, national recognition and notoriety playing young Opie Taylor, the son of our favorite sheriff, Andy Taylor, on the sitcom that we all love, The Andy Griffith Show. He did that from 1960 to 1968. And during that same time, he also appeared in a musical film called The Music Man back in 1962. It was a critical and commercial success. He was credited all that time instead of Ron Howard. He was Ronnie Howard from 1959 all the way up till 73. He was cast in the lead role, or one of the lead roles, in I guess it's a coming-of-age film called American Graffiti back in 1973. He got all kinds of acclaim for that, and it was a very profitable film for that time frame. The following year, he became a household name for playing somebody else, not just Opie. He was Richie Cunningham on the sitcom Happy Days. You knew that. He played that from 1974 until 1980. And he's continued to appear in films during that time. He was in them. He was in things like The Shootist in 1976 and a comedy film that called Grand Theft Auto in 1977, which just happened to be the first movie he directed. I don't know. Poor guy. He's just barely made it, Ron Howard. Just barely slipping by. Of course, like I said, we all know him as Opie. We love him as that, but he has done so many things in his career, and we are so proud of him. It's just it's nice to see a young man work hard like he has, and then come back. And I mean, he's done movies, he's done acting. By all accounts, he's a very nice man. Wow. I mean, we've talked about it with Rance Howard before in some of these interviews. We've heard from him and how he was raised. But wow, Ron's amazing. In 1980, he when he left Happy Days, he went on to focus on directing. And his films include, but they're not limited to, a science fiction film called Cocoon that he made back in 1985. He made the fantasy Willow in 1988, and they're talking about making a sequel to that. He's working on that. He did a thriller that you may have seen called Backdraft in 1991, and he did the docudrama, historical docudrama, I can't say it, docudrama about Apollo 13 in 1995. Great movie. Love it. Of course, being from Huntsville, Alabama, of course, I love Apollo 13. He did the Christmas comedy. I mean, he's done just a wide variety of things. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and made that Dr. Seuss story that was a 30-minute TV cartoon into an hour-long movie back in 2000 that was absolutely great. And he did, of course, then he made A Beautiful Mind. He has really done so many styles of movie. He did The Da Vinci Code, and fairly recently he did Solo, a Star Wars story. That was in 2018. He's just done so many things. He won an Academy Award for Best Director and an Academy Award for Best Picture for A Beautiful Mind that came out back in 2001. So Ron, happy birthday, and congratulations on all these amazing things that you've done. He's got 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But of course, to all of us, he's always going to be Opie. I mean, as much as we love all the movies he's made, and we're thankful he's been able to do these amazing, great things, we're thankful that he was Opie on the Andy Griffith Show and still brings us smiles and laughs. What a great little actor he was. And his dad, just being there with him on set and helping to keep him straight and keep everything going. Wow. They said even when he was young, he wanted to learn what the directors were doing, and he started watching them as they filmed episodes and learned from them as he went. So Ron, again, a great blessing to Ron. Now, March 1st was his birthday, as I told you, but it was also, I just want to mention, the birthday of Aaron Ruben. Now, Aaron Ruben, you hopefully know who he was. He's born March 1st, 1914, a couple of years before Ronnie, like 40. And he was a television director. And a producer, and he was known for the Andy Griffith Show, Gomer Pyle, USMC, and Sanford and Son. So we know Aaron. During the Andy Griffith Show, he was there for the first 5 seasons and did a lot of the writing and editing and just keeping everything together. He is a producer, writer, and story consultant on the Andy Griffith Show. And then he went off to create Gomer Pyle USMC. So Aaron Ruben, we owe a great thanks to as well. Also born March 1st. And again, Andy Griffith Show Connection, March 1st was the birthday of Paul Hartman. Now, Paul Hartman, we know him as Emmett from Emmett's Fix-It Shop on the Andy Griffith Show. So all 3 of those Mayberry connections with this amazing day. And we did Randy Turner did a This Week in Mayberry History about Paul Hartman back on episode number 520 of Two Chairs No Waiting. So if you want to go back and check that out, it's Bruce Bilson's interview. It's part 4 of it. But the end of that would be he did a segment of This Week in Mayberry History all about Paul Hartman. So if you'd like to go and check that out, it might be something worth it. So those are all 4 birthdays from March the 1st. Now, Ron's birthday was March the 1st, and I feel like I need to say, because Opie has some children. He has 4 children, and Ronnie does. Ron Howard. I would never call him Ronnie, by the way. I would call him Mr. Howard. But Mr. Howard has 4 kids, and one of his daughters, his oldest daughter, as a matter of fact, probably shouldn't say oldest. I don't know. She's a lady. But her birthday is today, March 2nd. And she was born in 1981. So happy birthday, Bryce Dallas Howard. And she's, if you don't know, Ron's daughter, she has been in a lot of movies. Like, I guess the ones that, the most recent ones that you would know about is Jurassic World. She was in Jurassic World and then the sequel as well. But she was in the Twilight Saga episode. She was, first time I remember seeing her was Spider-Man 3 in 2007, where she played Gwen Stacy. But she is Ron Howard's daughter. So happy birthday to Ron's daughter, his little girl, born on March the 2nd. So this is a pretty good birthday present for him. So happy birthday. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy hearing these kind of things, these little connections. I didn't realize her birthday was the day after her dad's, but I thought that was kind of cool. You know, he got a birthday present that was pretty nice. So, all right. So we are now, let's see, was there something else I was going to mention? Yes. We're going to listen to Randy Turner. I think I hit everybody there. Told you all the different stories. So I definitely encourage you to go back and listen to the episode that featured Paul Hartman, episode number 520, and hear from Randy on that. And now we're going to hear from Randy for This Week in Mayberry History.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Cooper Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
Howard Hesseman may be best known as Dr. Johnny Fever in the sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati, but he got his start in television in The Andy Griffith Show. Howard was born in the Pacific Northwest in Lebanon, Oregon, on February the 27th, 1940. He graduated from high school in 1958 and attended the University of Oregon before moving to San Francisco to pursue comedy. He initially worked as a radio disc jockey in the Bay Area. He then became involved in the San Francisco-based legendary comedy improv group called The Committee. The group was created in 1963 by 2 alumni of Chicago's Second City improv group. Hamilton Camp, who played the singing prisoner in the Barbershop Quartet, a 1966 episode of The Andy Griffith Show, was in the original company. The following year, the committee went to New York for a limited engagement, and so brought in new members to hold down the fort at their own Bay Area theater. Howard was one of those new members, though at that point he was using the stage name Don Sturdy. New members eventually joined, including David Ogden Steers, best known to most as Major Winchester in MASH. In the late 60s, the committee decided to form another company to be based in and perform in Los Angeles. Howard thus made the move to L.A., where he was one of the mainstays of the new company, along with another committee member, Rob Reiner. One of Reiner's earliest television appearances was in the final episode of the 7th season of The Andy Griffith Show. So Rob is likely the reason Howard decided to audition for the Mayberry series later that same year. In December, Howard, still going by Don Sturdy, was cast in a bit part as a bored counter boy serving hot dogs and root beer to Goober and an old trade school rival in Goober Goes to an Auto Show. which actually aired in February 1968. This was Howard's television debut. He followed it up in a March episode where he was at this time a Mayberry resident named Harry, who Emmett tries to convince to vote for him in Sam for Town Council, an episode setting up Ken Berry to star as Sam Jones in Mayberry RFD. Howard appeared in small parts, including playing a hippie in an episode of the revival series Dragnet 1967, before he appeared as a drama teacher in the 1971 cult hit Billy Jack. The cast actually included 4 others, all of whom were part of the committee improv group. In 1973, Howard finally jettisoned the Don Sturdy stage name to perform under his real name. He continued to play small parts in series such as Rhoda and Mannix before being cast in the recurring role of Craig Plager in The Bob Newhart Show. While he continued to play that role, he also continued to appear in TV movies and guest star in other series, such as Laverne and Shirley and The Rockford Files. He was cast as Dr. Robert Williams in the 1976 soap opera parody Mary Hartman, then appeared in another soap opera parody in 1978 called, appropriately enough, Soap. But on September the 28th of 1978, Howard became known as the disco-hating disc jockey Dr. Johnny Fever in WKRP in Cincinnati. While the show grew to be extremely popular in syndication, it was not an enormous hit. It did air 4 seasons, but midway through season 2, CBS began changing its time slot repeatedly, which inevitably led to lower ratings and eventual cancellation. However, Howard did receive 2 Emmy Award nominations for his performance. He also wrote one of the episodes and directed another. And I have to add a personal aside. My wife began her career in TV news, and the antenna seen in the opening credits broadcast the signal from where she worked. That real TV and radio station, by the way, is WKRC. When WKRP ended in 1982, Howard joined the cast of One Day at a Time, playing Sam Royer, who marries Ann Romano, the mother on the series. After that series ended in 1984, Howard appeared in several memorable movies, including Police Academy 2, their first assignment, the Disney cult classic Flight of the Navigator, and the mockumentary This is Spinal Tap, starring and directed by Howard's old fellow member of the committee, Rob Reiner. From 1986 through 1990, Howard starred in Head of the Class, playing teacher Charlie Moore, then returned to the new WKRP in Cincinnati from 1991 to 1993. Since then, Howard has continued to appear in TV and films, including playing recurring roles in That 70s Show, Boston Legal, the short-lived John from Cincinnati, and Fresh Off the Boat. He remains a working actor, last seen in the 2018 comedy film Dirty Politics. Well, that's it for this week. As always, thanks for listening, and remember to take Andy's advice and go out there and act like somebody.
Wow, thank you, Randy. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of the amazing things Randy has going on the internet, send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com, turnersgrade@gmail.com. And since we're talking about that, let me tell you what Randy is up to right now. He is starting a new group. It's called the Andy Griffith Show Ambassadors Program. So if you'd like to be a part of that, you can head over to Facebook, facebook.com, and look for the Andy Griffith Show Ambassadors Program. Just search for that and you'll find it. It's called, that's what it's called. And then there's also a website you can go to at Mayberry Books. There's a link there. I'll try to put links in the show notes. Here's basically what it says. To become an ambassador, you simply send an email to turnersgrade@gmail.com or like our Facebook page. If you want to take full advantage of the program, you send an email that you're accepting our limited offer to make the first 150 Mayberry fans to respond. That's representing the 149 episodes of the series. Of course, and you want to tell them that. Now, the first 250 that respond would get a year's membership, basically, free membership. Now, there's only about 50 left at this point. So what you would be receiving as part of this is an official certificate of ambassadorship. So you're an ambassador of the Andy Griffith Show. It's suitable for framing. You get a 1-year subscription to an Andy Griffith Show Ambassadors Program magazine. So it's kind of like the e-bullet that I'm always talking about. It'll be similar. It's going to be a small format periodical, which will be mailed 3 times a year, is what it's going to be. And then you're also going to have opportunity. It's going to start in April 2020, by the way. It's going to be filled with Mayberry information, advanced word of Liberty Grove Press publications. Also going to have exclusive access to some of the Andy Griffith Show Ambassador Program merchandise that Randy's going to be putting together. So there's going to be some other surprises as well. So I will put a link in the show notes about the Ambassador Program and where to find it, so that you guys can go and become a member. Even if you have to pay for it, this might be something that would be worth checking out. So I definitely want to encourage you. Okay. All right. So that's all from Randy Turner. Send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com to get more information. That's probably your best way, especially if you're driving in your car. turnersgrade@gmail.com. All right. So Randy, thank you for that. Well, we are about to wrap up. That's all. That's the main part of the show, but I wanted to give a shout out to Roger Richard. He's a Andy Griffith Show fan, and he has been to the Mayberry meetup in Mount Airy, plus Mayberry Days and some of the other events, Mayberry in the Midwest. But I met with him. My wife and I met him. He was in town over the weekend. And so I met with him, and we had breakfast at Cracker Barrel. So I got to pick where we're eating. But we had breakfast and visited for a good hour and a half or more, as he was in town to do some stuff in town. And his father had passed away in the past year or so. And we were talking about some of the things. His dad ran a service station, a gas station, a garage. And he had done that for years, for about 30 years plus. And so Roger is going through all of the items that were still at the gas station. So I'm thinking about goobers, Wally's service, all this stuff. So it was real neat. Roger gave me a rain gauge that was brand new. He still has, it's still the box and everything. It's a brand new rain gauge. That's like, they used to give them out at gas stations and stuff. When you bought a certain amount of gas or something like that, the owner would present you something. And this is his dad's name is on there. It's Paul Richard. It was a Union 76 gas station, heating oil, diesel oil, and gasoline in McClure, Ohio. And it had a phone. It says phone. This is like Mayberry. The phone number is 742. I thought this was awesome. So Roger gave this to me to go here, and I'm going to put it in my Mayberry collection it's just part of it. So Roger, thank you for that. It's brand new. I mean, it's like a brand new thing. I feel like American Pickers. I've been able to get this brand new thing, new in box, still in here. And it's even got the directions and stuff that came with it. I can't find a date on it, but I'm pretty sure it's not new. It's fairly old. So Roger, thank you for that. It's just, that's nostalgia, and it fits in well with my Mayberry collection. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. I was excited when he gave it to me. It was pretty cool. So, guys, that is all I have for you this evening. And I hope you have enjoyed the podcast. I would love to hear from you. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415 and let me hear your voice, and we'll talk and visit. If you're going to be in the Florence, Alabama area this weekend for the UNA Film Festival, George Lindsay UNA Film Festival, please let me know. Send me an email at floyd@imayberry.com so you can meet up with us on Friday and Saturday, and we can go see The Mayberry Effect, the documentary that's an award-winning documentary by Chris Hudson. That's right, award-winning. It won the Prison City Film Festival's Sargent's Award for Best Editing in a Documentary. So, feature documentary. So, congratulations to Chris. And we're going to have to play the closing music again because I'm still talking. But he did a great job. That was the Prison City Film Festival in Huntsville, Texas, not Alabama, where I am. So I congratulate Chris. He did it's awesome for him. I'm happy. So the award-winning The Mayberry Effect documentary. So great job, Chris. I'm glad you were able to pull this off and get an award. Hopefully we'll follow that award up with another one at the George Lindsay UNA Film Festival. Come help us celebrate the Two Chairs meetup along with Chris. He's going to be there and we'll be able to talk to him and visit with him, maybe get an autograph. He's famous. So folks, until next time, we'll see you back here on Two Chairs. Good night, everybody.